From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBIC, the Primetime Capper, and it's time for the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles. So let's go ahead and get ready for a jam-packed show, and we got a lot to talk about, a lot to break down today. And up first, let's go ahead and talk about Mr. Jalen Hurts. Breaking news: Jalen Hurts gets massive extension after leading Eagles to Super Bowl appearance. Was this the right move by Philly? Okay. From what I'm seeing with the contract, they have it as a 5-year extension. I think he has about 2 years left on his current deal. So it's a 5-year extension, and it's actually going to be guaranteed at almost $180 million. It falls short at $179.03 million. And then the contract overall is $255 once you add in the incentives, but he is guaranteed almost $180 million. So what this did was just set up the market for an even bigger deal that should be coming very soon, probably in the next 2 weeks or so at the latest. I think that possibly we can get this deal done by this week. Lamar Jackson pretty much has a number that he can go ahead and take back to the Ravens pretty much with what he wants to do. But I truly do think that they're probably going to meet right in the middle at $200 million guaranteed. But it's not going to be a fully guaranteed contract. I just think that they're probably going to meet up at $200 million. But at the same time, too, I do see the sentiments of a guy who's never made the Super Bowl. Yes, you won the MVP back in 2019, but I think that MVP was more of a fan situation where you got really excited about what the possibilities could be because you felt like you was making up for, possibly overlooking Michael Vick's first few seasons in the NFL and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, this is not the smartest contract to give somebody because I really do feel like with Hurts, you got a guy that really does have some things that are special about him, like his leadership, his willingness to accept whatever role they want him to do. But I think that with this added pressure, he might not be able to stand up to that pressure. He spent a lot of time with people doubting him, and now he won't be doubted anymore. Now he's going to be asked to do great things on the field. I'm not saying that he can't do it. I'm just saying that this is a lot of responsibility for a guy now. You're paying him $180 million guaranteed. A lot of people are going to be looking at him to make sure that things go right. And when things go wrong, they're going to blame him and they're going to blame the contract and they're going to blame everything on, pretty much the front office and all that good stuff. The reason why anybody's having this kind of, this kind of dial back on this one is because, they did this with Carson Wentz as well, too. And Carson Wentz did not even go as far as Jalen Hurts did, but he got one of the biggest contracts in NFL history at the time. And right now, Jalen has just made history today as the richest contract of all time. He's going to be getting $46 million a season. So that's like silly money. And I truly do feel like, did he really have better stats than Dak Prescott within the first 3 years? Nope, not even close. But he's a great manager. He's a great leader. And I think that Philadelphia just told themselves that they don't feel like going through a quarterback carousel. They got a guy that they trust. They got a guy that the city trusts, and they're good with that. And that's really what it was. It was a very good contract for a very good, loyal soldier, in my opinion. And I think that they just want to make sure that they got somebody who's committed to them and the city, and somebody that they can already trust. And I truly do feel like they made this decision because that's how the Eagles roll. If they have a player that they really like, they're going to invest in that player. Now, with the Ravens, they did the same thing with Joe Flacco. They went back and forth on how they were going to present this, how they were going to get this contract done. It wound up being that Joe Flacco became, at the time, the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. So I think that when it's all said at the end of the day, this was great for Lamar moving forward, and it was good for the Ravens moving forward as well, too, to see that what the market truly is for their type of quarterback. So I think that all in all, you got to be happy for Jalen Hurts because you know where he's coming from and you know his story. But at the same time, now the pressure is really on because they want to move off of him for, let's keep it real. They want to move off of him after that first playoff visit that they had when they lost to Tampa Bay and he couldn't do anything. So let's not play this game that, you know, he's that loved in Philadelphia. When the guy wasn't winning games and the guy wasn't doing all these great things that he was doing before, then you guys were ready to throw him away. And I think hopefully you guys don't do that now because now he's getting paid by you guys. So now it's really time to show and prove what you can truly, truly do. And this could set back Philadelphia for some time if it doesn't work. And I'm just going to be dead honest with you guys about that part. But I don't think that it's going to go left. I think that their projection is in the right direction. And if you're gonna pay anybody, he's the guy to pay because at the end of the day, he's always going to have your franchises back. And I think that's exactly what Philadelphia played into making sure that they got this deal done. So congratulations to Jalen Hurts on getting that deal done. And hopefully everything works out for him and that he's still competitive and everything like that, and that he gets another big contract from this team. And, you know, him in Philadelphia become a very good football story. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and move forward and jump into our next topic in hand, and that's going to be talking about the NBA. And with the NBA, we got the NBA playoff game aftermaths, and pretty much first up, I want to talk about the Eastern side of things. I think that, like I said before, we only got one real close series. That's going to be the Cavs and the Knicks. That game wound up finishing up very, very predictable. I know that a lot of people probably had the Cavs winning game one, but, you know, me and my clients, we had the Knicks winning game one, and they did, plus 180. And I think that all in all, when it comes down to it, the Knicks are a team that really is hungry to advance in this playoff. The Cavs are a team that might be a little too tired at this point because they did a lot of winning and they did a lot of, you know, beating up on bad teams. I feel like Cleveland's schedule was very favorable for them all season. Like, they really lined it up against some of the bad teams, like, a lot. You're going to play the best teams as well, too, but they will play a really good team and then play a really bad team the next night. You know, and I never really saw much great balance with them, but I see that they're building something there. That's the whole thing. And they do have some really good young players to move forward with. But I think that the Knicks, all in all, will probably win out in this series because the Knicks are a team that's been hungry for so long to be in the playoffs. And I really do think that the NBA and the TV networks know that it's better for the brand and it's better for TV when you have the New York Knicks involved in the playoffs as long as possible. So I think that it's going to be still a tough series. It's still going to go 77 games. And I truly do think that the winner of the series at the end of the day is going to be a team that's going to give the Bucks some possible issues here in the next round. When you see that the way that the Bucks played yesterday, now the Bucks getting beat by Miami shouldn't shock anybody. Miami came off of a good comeback win on Friday night, and then they just took advantage of a flat Bucks team. And I'll keep it real with you. The Bucks have been flat a few times in this opening round playoff game. We all remember they lost to Orlando a few years back in the bubble. They lost to I think they lost their first game last year in the playoff round as well too, to a high end team. So, to a low end team. I'm sorry, but all in all, it seems like that's kind of a curse for the number one team in the East. That first game, they always seem to lose that first game, and it's usually on a Saturday morning. So I'm usually on the eighth seed in that game, but yesterday I decided to play the spread for that one. I decided to play. I think I was playing the under for that game, and I don't think we hit it yesterday. It was 130 to 117. So, I truly do feel. I did feel like Miami could go in there and sneak in there and win that game because Miami has some good mojo against the Bucks. Let's keep it real. That's one of the teams that the Bucks really, really have some issues with, and losing Giannis wasn't helpful either. So things like that happen. So pretty much that doesn't take anything away from the Bucks winning the series. They're still going to run away with this one. Tyler Hero is actually hurt now. Jimmy Butler and Bam can only do so much. So I think that instead of this ending in a sweep, it's probably just going to end 4-1. Let's just keep it real. All right. So, but the way that the Heat started off the series, anything goes. Let's keep it real. All right. So you have a very keen situation, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But I think that Philadelphia started off on a good note. The Nets were a little inexperienced looking in this situation, even though a lot of these guys have already played in the playoffs before. But they're another team that's still getting to know each other, and they probably started playing their best basketball here in the last few weeks. But let's keep it real. Philadelphia is a really, really good team that doesn't get enough love as is. They got the possible MVP in Embiid. They got James Harden, who's an all-time great. They also have Tobias Harris, who's one of the better role players in the NBA. Tyrese Maxey as well too. So there's a lot of things working in the favor of Philadelphia going into this game. And Philadelphia, if they win tonight, they possibly will go ahead and sweep this series because I want to give the Nets the benefit of the doubt to win a game or two here, but they really do look out of their element right now against this 76ers team. Or is it just that the 76ers are really focused on advancing to the finals this year? This team is there's three teams that can make the finals in the Eastern Conference, and the 76ers are one of them. And I think that a lot of people have overlooked them this year because Boston and Milwaukee's just been so good this season, and their teams just kind of stand out. Philly's had a lot of just moments where they fell short in games that they shouldn't have fell short in. So that's where you kind of get that dial back on them a little bit. But I think Philly's good to go in this series, and then you have the Boston's about to clean Atlanta's clock. It's that simple. Atlanta might win a game or two in Atlanta, but they're going to get their clock clean, dude. Seriously. I think that Saturday was a very good measurement of what that series is going to be all about. And I think Boston is really focused on making sure they finish this one up as quick as possible. Now on the West Side, Denver absolutely crushed the Wolves last night. I had the Wolves as an upset special last night. I went in reverse. I went with the Western Conference team to have the AFC take care of their business, but it's always the Eastern Conference AFC team that takes care of their business. But they lost last night. They were down by almost 40 at one point. I think that pretty much Denver has found that Jokic is a very valuable player, but the guy that pushes him through and the guy that gets him over the top is Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray led all Denver scorers last night, and he pretty much was the difference in that game last night to put them over the top. But they're getting great effort from KCP, MPJ. These guys have a championship caliber team, regardless of how you feel about them and regardless of how you think. They did a lot of their losing here in the last month or so because literally they had nothing else to play for. They already pretty much had locked up the West. So they weren't going to overdo it. And that's exactly the smart type of mentality to have going into the playoffs. So pretty much they have a very good to me, they have a very good chemistry going on right now. And a lot of people have to understand that when you got good chemistry, you can do whatever you want in this league. So Denver, all in all, Denver should be able to make some strong strides, but this is still going to be a long series. The series isn't going to be over after 4 or 5 games. It's going to go 6 because things are going to get a little murky here when we get to Minnesota. They might have smooth sailing here in Denver, but it's going to get tough when they get to Minnesota because Ant is not playing great basketball, but he should start playing pretty good basketball very soon. And then you also have just the fact that Minnesota has a really good roster. And I think that Minnesota's roster can step it up in all the right ways. Then you have our 2-7, and we'll talk about that when we get to State of the Lakers in a moment. But all in all, when you get down to the 3-6 matchup, you got the Warriors and the Kings. We're going to talk about game 2 in a second, but the Warriors and Kings really do have a matchup that presents the best element of them all. Teams that are not that far apart from each other. So there is no excuse about road games. You're not traveling, okay? Literally, both your fan bases can show up to your games. So this is literally just a neighborhood game, and these games wind up being the toughest series because you don't really know what's going to happen. But Saturday, you just had a great monster effort from Monk and from Fox. Fox had 38, Malik Monk had 32. So that was huge. That's exactly what they needed. And Malik stepped up for all the point. He stepped up somewhat in Sabonis' spot. Sabonis had a good game on Saturday, but you expect Sabonis to be 30-30 with Fox, not Malik Monk. But they're going to need more tonight. They're going to need a lot more tonight to win that game. So I think that all in all, this series, it does have 7 written all over it. It truly does. Clippers Suns. This one is a wild one because you got 2 guys that used to be seen as one of the strongest duos to ever play together, that KD and Westbrook. So the theater is there because these 2 played with each other. These 2 somewhat had a rivalry for a while as well too. So the theater is there with those 2, but they played themselves a hell of a game last night. Kawhi and KD went directly at it. Both guys were superior. Both guys were great for prime time last night. They were in the perfect spot last night. It's just that the Clippers just did a little bit more to win that game. Russell Westbrook played great defense there in the end, and that was huge for the Clippers moving forward. But this series is one of the toughest series to ever call, period, point blank. It's a first-round series that really presents a real 50-50. You have 2 teams that are playing each other entirely too early in this playoff. These teams should be playing each other in the Western Conference Finals. Seriously, this is not a good first-round matchup for either team. This is really 2 teams that have championship potential, championship expectations that have to face off in the first round. Just think about that. It's just a very good series, and I think that the series is just a circumstance of situation because the Pacific Division is the only division that got all their teams into the playoffs this year, and pretty much 3 through 7 is all the Pacific Division. So if teams were a little bit better throughout the season and weren't so stagnant, so log jam, it would probably be a different situation. But this does make for a very strong outcome for either one of the winners, for either team, for whoever the winner is going to be. So it's going to be a great series. I expect this one to go 7. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But with that, let's go ahead and jump into the state of the Lakers real quick. The Lakers yesterday were absolutely tremendous. The Lakers had themselves a very, very good, thorough game. They actually finished that game on a 15-0 run yesterday as well, too. So there were a lot of things that worked out in the Lakers' favor moving forward in that spot. So they'll be back Wednesday, and Ja Morant is probably going to be out of that game, so that's very helpful for the Lakers. But that doesn't mean the Lakers automatically win that game. But I think yesterday proved that the Lakers are the much better team here, and I think that LeBron, AD were very motivated by what they saw from their teammates yesterday as well too. Rue had 29 points. Reeves had 22. And then you got 19 from D'Angelo Russell. But your starting five did a job yesterday. Literally, everybody in the starting five almost had 20 points yesterday. So that was incredible in itself. They did it big to me yesterday. This team really had their mind made up that, we're here, we're comfortable, and this is what we're going to do. So the Lakers went ahead and they won that game. They took care of their business. And I think that a lot of people got very excited about what they seen. And people are already ready to crown the Lakers the world champions and all that stuff, and already put them in the conference finals and all that good stuff. But I think that all in all, what you got to do is you have to understand that it's a game by game situation. The Lakers have not won anything yet. The Lakers are still a flawed team. The Lakers still have some sorting out that they have to do. So this series is far from over. And what I want to say is, before I move on to talking about tonight's games, is this. I want to say that when it comes down to game one, they're the most irrelevant game that you could play in any playoff series. That goes for the NBA Finals as well, too. You think that you're setting the tone and setting the mark. You're really not setting anything. Because just look at this. Miami won the game one, but that's irrelevant at the end of the day. Will they get the 3 wins in the series? That's the biggest question. You know what I mean? It's everything. Nothing gets relevant until you get to that 3rd win. All right. And I think that a lot of us have to understand that part. So that was great. The Lakers won. That was great. The Clippers won. That was great. The Kings won. That was great. The 76ers won. That was great. The Heat won. But at the end of the day, it's just game one. It's nothing to say, oh my God, this is going to be the end of the series now for the team that lost. No, not at all. This is motivation to make sure that you know that it's a go hard or go home situation. So, as I always like to say, game one is always something that you really go ahead and you say, good win, but we can go ahead and forget about it, because the series has started and now it's only about the next game that's in front of us. It's only about that game. So you can't lose a game in game one, but you can lose a series if you don't get over it. You know what I mean? If you look at it and say you got cheated in game one and then come out in game two and get blasted, then literally just end the series right there, because your mental is gone. You're gonna think that the same thing that worked in game one is going to work in game two. And it does not work like that. Everything has to be adjusted. And that's why game twos are always really difficult to me for a home team to win. A game one is always is a little bit easier, but a game two is always difficult. And it gets even more difficult when you have lost that game one as well too, because now you got unneeded pressure. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about tonight's matchups real quick. And we got up first, we got the Nets and the 76ers. The Nets and the 76ers game is going to be in Philly tonight. Starts at 4:30 as well too. It should be a very strategic type of situation. But what I like here is that the Nets have some motivation, because there was a lot of ticky-tack calls called for Joel Embiid, and then there was a lot of stuff that wasn't called on Joel Embiid. So I think that this team knows that, they might have a target on their back, and they will play with the extra motivation that they need to play with tonight. So I truly do feel like what happens here is that you can get this game will go under. I think defense is gonna play a big part in this one. And I think that also what happens here is that our boy Michael Bridges has another big time game. So I like what I see here with the Nets tonight, but let's go ahead and take that over 213 tonight. I wouldn't say take him as a dog or anything like that, but the spread could work out for you as well too. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into our next topic, our next game, the nightcapper, and that's going to be the Warriors and the Kings. This game wound up being the game of the weekend. Let's just keep it real. This game went back and forth, and then when we got down to the final minute of the game, we got introduced to a very prime time player. I've known about him since his rookie year, but now the rest of the world knows about him because everybody knew about De'Aaron Fox being a big trash talker and everything like that. He went out of his way to really ride on Lonzo Ball and Lonzo Ball's daddy. He felt like they were having a real jealous moment with all the attention that was getting paid to Lonzo and LeVar, and then there was no attention getting paid to De'Aaron and whatever his dad's name is. I'm just gonna say Mr. Fox. So I think that was I didn't like that. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I didn't think that was it. That was a good character move, but when you see the guy play and you see how he plays and how he goes about the game, it's very understandable now because the guy did get overlooked big time. And it's kind of been a burden on him since he was in high school. So, he goes to Kentucky, they kill it. Him and Malik Monk, Bam Adebayo, all these guys were highly heralded prospects going into college that year. And then they all actually went in the top 10 as well, too. So that was pretty big in itself. So this guy is finally playing with eyes on him. He's been a killer for a while. You know what I mean? He's been a killer for a while, but he had a bad attitude. Let's just keep it real. His attitude was terrible. And he's a little mouthy. And I think that he said some things that didn't have good context to it. But at the end of the day, we're not supposed to love these guys. We're not supposed to like these guys. If they got game, they got game. It's that simple. There's a lot of assholes with game. I mean? There's a lot of people that just are obnoxious people, but that ain't going to take away from their basketball skill. Because you know what De'Aaron Fox has really done? He's the type of guy that he's not just going to talk about it. He's going to be about it. And a lot of us who watch the game nightly know this already, but a lot of you guys are just now getting introduced to it. So if we would say that they're a new player that's on the rise, it's going to be De'Aaron Fox. And the Kings winning this series is all based on how good De'Aaron Fox is going to be. It's just that simple and that easy to see. And I think that at the end of the day, this is a series that possibly goes 7. But tonight, what happens here is that we're going to run into a little bit of a over cocky team and a somewhat of a tired team in Sacramento. I think Sacramento is going to get a little bit too cute to try to show out for this big fan base that has showed back up, that's loud and proud and rocking those cowbells really hard for their Sacramento Kings. But I think tonight is a fall off night for the Kings in a sense because their crowd was so electric, so energized on Saturday that it really rubbed off on the team. They were down 8 points at one point in the game as well too. Tonight, if they get down like that tonight on a Monday, I think that the Warriors can easily cut the lights out, to be honest with you. So I actually like the Warriors tonight to even this thing up. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But that's going to be the battle of the Bay right there. The Warriors and the Kings, Sacktown versus the Town. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. And with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when I get back, we're going to be talking about what's going on the Diamond. We got the Blue Crew Daily, and we got MLB Monday night. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
What's up? What's up? What's up? I am back. So let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the Dodgers. The Dodgers literally were bad yesterday. Not bad in the sense to where they were bad, like they played bad. They just lost the game. That's all it is. They lost 3-2 yesterday. Dodgers actually lost the series this weekend as well, too. It wasn't good for the Dodgers this weekend against Chicago. They lost Friday and they lost Sunday as well, too. The Dodgers absolutely got raked on Friday, though. The Dodgers gave up 8 runs, the most runs they gave up at home all season this year, and that was pretty crazy coming back off of a quick 7-game road trip, you know what I mean? So, you know, as soon as they get back to the Ravine, give up 8 runs, but Andre Jackson just got absolutely blistered in that 8th inning. So, you know, there's just some things that they might need to fine tune in that regard. But then they bounced back, got a good 2-1 walk-off win on Saturday. That was huge, you know what I mean, because David Peralta got the first walk-off win for the Dodgers this year. And I think we're going to get a couple of those at the Ravine this year as well, too. But then, as I said before, Cody Bellinger went ahead and hit a rocket shot yesterday to one of his favorite spots in the stadium. He actually hit a 433-foot home run yesterday that put them ahead 3-1, and that might have been the run that absolutely put this game kind of out of reach. And that's crazy to say that you put a game out of reach and it was only 3-1. But Sundays at the stadium, most times those games wind up being very, very formful. So, like, literally, like, once a team gets a lead after, like, the 6th, 7th inning, that's probably going to be the game right there. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if it's a 1-run lead. It's just probably going to be the game right there, because I always feel like guys get a little tired at that point of the day because it's been a long week. And, you know, the Dodgers only had 1 day off last week. And this week, they're probably only going to get 1 day off this week. So, you know, no, the Dodgers actually had to play all week this week. So there are no days off. The next Dodger day off actually is going to be – so this is why this stretch of the season is very important for the Dodgers, because the Dodgers do not have a day off until next Tuesday, and that's when they play Pittsburgh. And guess what? Next Tuesday is going to be my birthday. So, you know, pretty much not the Tuesday – next Tuesday. Sorry. So that'll be my birthday on Tuesday with the Pirates. So pretty much the Dodgers look to go ahead and try to at least finish up this homestand on a winning streak. You know what I mean? Or at least finish up with a winning record, at least 3-3. They're looking at 4. Dodgers want to go 4. They can't do any better than 4-2. But they want to make sure that they still 500 at home. But they got a toughie coming in here. But good thing for them, you don't have the Mets who have DeGrom anymore. They do have Scherzer. They do have Verlander, but Verlander's hurt for a while, and you have Scherzer, who the Dodgers will face on Wednesday, but Thor will be a part of that game as well too. So you got some revenge on his mind as well. So the Dodgers, all in all, I think that they truly do need to go ahead and look at this thing with the idea that it's not going to be that easy of a season this year. It's not going to be a walk in. It's not going to be like it was in 2021, 2022. The Dodgers are seen as the best team in the National League when it comes down to it. Even though the Braves have presented a much better team this year, the Dodgers still are the team that has the end that has the say at the end of the day. The Dodgers have won 215 games in the last 2 years. So that's absolutely mind-blowing. That's absolutely incredible. So the Dodgers are going to still be in the mix, but they're going to have to really play well in this series. But the series does favor them. They got Dustin May on the mound today. Then tomorrow they're going to have Clayton Kershaw back on the mound, and then they'll have Thor on the mound. So they got three of their they got their 2, 3, and 4 pitchers going tomorrow, and this will be, I feel like, a really good thing moving into the week, because now you got a 4-gamer against the Cubs, and you got Michael Grove going in that game. Michael Grove pitched them well on Saturday, and then Julio Urias will be able to get some get back with them as well too. He just pitched against them on Sunday, and literally we're going all the way in. We're going right back to it, and I think that as long as you can get a good week out of these guys, I think that the Dodgers should be right on time to get where they need to be. And I told you guys that the Dodgers were not going to start fast this year. There was going to be a slow start, and that's exactly where we're at right now. So, and it's not technically a slow start. It's just April. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. Let's go ahead and jump into MLB Monday. It's Monday. It's Monday. We got 13 games. I'm surprised we got 13 games. Usually Monday is a day off for teams, but not today. So pretty much, MLB, probably the first month, 6 weeks, we'll have crowded Mondays, but most times we'll probably have Mondays where we'll only have 6 or 7 games going. It just all depends on how the schedule is working for that week. But up first, let's go ahead and talk about the Giants, who are 5-9, and the Marlins, who are 8-8. We got an over/under of 7.5 too as well. The thing that sticks out about this game is the pitching matchup today. You got Luzardo, who's pitching for the Marlins, and then you got Logan Webb, the ace of the staff for the Giants. He's going to be going today. And I think that when you look at the fact that, the Giants had a game that was postponed yesterday, and they played 2 really close games with Detroit, but they've lost their last 3 games in a row, and they've actually dropped their last 4 out of 5. So this team is trying to get themselves somewhat, in a good position. And, Miami is a good stop before they have to go to New York and play the Mets. So this should be a really, really intriguing game because, San Francisco's not doing well right now, but this is a good game to pick themselves up. You have a Marlins team that actually had won 4 in a row and had their 4-game winning streak actually snapped yesterday. They lost that game 0-5, but they had some pretty good games here. They were able to beat Philly in a series and Arizona in a series, and that was the first time they've won back-to-back series this season. So that is pretty good for this team. But, it seems like this team is having a little bit of some inconsistencies. Like, they lost 3 in a row, then won 2 in a row, then lost 2 in a row, then won 1, lost 1, then won 4 in a row and just lost. So, they're going to get a lot of love today. Let's just keep it real. They're going to get a lot of love today. And they are a short favorite, but they're a short favorite for a reason, because this team is still kind of limited offensively. Even though they got the best hitter in baseball right now in Luis Arias, is still they're having their issues though. Let's just keep it real. They're having issues, even though they got a guy who has 24 hits, batting .471 right now. But still, I think that they still have an issue scoring runs. So until they fix that for real, then they're never going to be somebody that you can totally trust in a game. So with the Giants kind of playing this okay, one day they're real good, the next day they're not. One day they're real good, the next day they're not. I feel like with the day off that they had yesterday, because the game rained out, now they're going to be playing in Miami where they don't have to worry about any of that because there's a dome on top of the stadium. They'll go ahead and win this game today. I like them with the plus 105. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. Giants at Marlins. This should be a good one. All right, so let's go ahead and move into our next game in hand, and that's going to be this one right here. It's going to be the D-backs and the Cardinals. This is a good game as well, too. This has a lot pretty good elements to it. You got Flattery going against Morrell today, and Morrell has been pitching pretty decent here. But, hey, let's keep it real. Arizona's I won't say they're the surprise of the league because their record's not that crazy, but they are 9-7 right now. They sit atop of the NL West as well too. So, we got to talk about the standings of today. It's not really about the standings of September, at the end of September. It's about what's going on today. And today, the Diamondbacks are the leader in the clubhouse. So the Diamondbacks come in here pushing out Merrill. Merrill is 0-2 on the season, but he has a 2.93 ERA as well too. And the crazy part about it for him was he had to start off his first 4 games against 4 really good teams. St. Louis and Milwaukee will be in the playoff race. The Dodgers will be in the playoff race. So he started off against these 4 teams and literally held his own in all those games. He didn't give up any runs to the Dodgers on opening day. And he didn't give up in today, and he's given up 7 on the season, but he's been able to strike out 11 as well too. So the guy's been playing really good baseball, but he has lost the last two in a row. But that was to the Dodgers until Milwaukee. So tonight he goes against this Cardinals team, and the Cardinals, let's keep it real, they're struggling a little bit coming in here. They're not playing the same baseball that we're used to. But as I said when we started the season, I said that the Cardinals were going to start slow, and that's exactly what's happening right now. Now, he didn't get a notice. He got a no decision in his last game against Colorado. That game wound up being a lot closer than it needed to be. But all in all, I think they wound up still winning that game. So pretty much tonight he tries to bounce back. He got a 1.76 ERA as well too. So this game looks really good on paper. You got 2 teams that are in the top 15 when it comes to batting average, and then also you got 2 teams that are pitching the ball pretty decent as well too this year. I think the Cardinals might need to get a little bit better, but Arizona's doing pretty good for what was predicted. So with this game tonight, what I like about this one is I like the fact that we can just go ahead and just do a quick scoreboard. We can do a quick scoreboard watch with this one in a sense. And I think that all in all, I like the Cardinals to win this game tonight. I know that the Diamondbacks been playing better baseball. They've been winning me some money as well too. But I'm going to have to dial it back on them tonight, and I'm going to take the Cardinals in this spot. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into our next game, which is going to be the Blue Jays and the Astros. This one right here is a possible playoff matchup as well too, and it would be an awesome playoff matchup if you had this as the actual American League Championship Series. That would be so cool because I know the story that they would have with this being, the first the first American League Championship in Toronto in about 10 years, I guess. Because, we got to always remember that. I always try to be like, 91 and 92 and 93. But I had to always remember that this team actually did go ahead and a few years back they were in the ALCS. So when you look at this game, you got a Blue Jays team that just won 2 out of 3 against the only undefeated team in baseball this weekend. So they have that working in their regard, but it's still crazy that they're still like so many games behind the Rays. But tonight they got Kevin Gausman, their highly paid pitcher on the mound tonight, who's absolutely filthy right now this year. He's 1-1 on the year, but he has a 1.35 ERA as well. He wound up giving up 3 runs on opening day, and then he shut him out the next time out against KC. Gave up 3 runs again on in the Detroit game, but he struck out 11 that day, and he has 25 strikeouts on the season as well too. So this is something that you really do get a little excited about tonight if you are a Toronto fan, because he's absolutely cooking guys, and he's just coming off of 11 strikeouts last time out. Christian Javier is not having the same type of season that you would expect. He's been really good over the past few years, but he's kind of off to a rocky start to start this season. I guess it might be a little bit of World Series hangover as well too. He's actually struck out 14 and only walked 2, but he's been getting hit a lot in his last few games, but he's been able to get to at least 6 innings. But he gave 3 runs in his first game, and he pitched of the year. Then he gave a run to Detroit. Then he gave 4 here against Pittsburgh. So the Blue Jays do have a guy that they can hit today in Javier. So with that, I think that what happens here in this game is that we have ourselves a game that winds up being in the favor of the Blue Jays, because let's keep it real. The Astros are straight up struggling right now. The Astros absolutely, they haven't been good. They've actually wound up losing their last 4 out of 6 games. So, you want this team to do better, but right now you can't trust them. So I'm taking the Blue Jays with the -1.5 plus 130. Hopefully they can win this game by 2 or more runs. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. All right, let's go ahead and get into a game that's going to be in our later ticket, and that's going to be the Brewers and the Mariners. The Mariners 8-8 on the year right now, and then you got the Brewers, one of the better teams in the National League right now at 11-5. So, you got the Brewers who I would say had a pretty good weekend this weekend in San Diego. They wound up winning 3 out of 4 there. But you got the hottest team in baseball. Well, not the hottest team in baseball, but you got the Mariners who swept Colorado this weekend. They won 4 in a row as well too. And actually they won, from what I can see here, I think they won their last 5 out of 6. So, they are a team that is looking forward to – actually, no, they just won their last 4 in a row. They had just stopped a 3-game losing streak. So they are a team that tonight I like them a lot. I think that, you got Corbin Burnes on the mound, and yes, he's one of the better pitchers. Last year, Cy Young, blase, coming off of his best game pitching against Arizona on the 12th. He struck out 8, only gave 3 hits, went 8 innings, so pretty much got his first win of the season. But he had to stay in that game to get them all the way right. Now, and that was the first game things calmed down for him. Opening day, he gave 4 runs, only struck out 3. Then they played the Mets 6 days later. He gave up 6. So his ERA has actually dipped back down to 5.19. It was starting off at 9.64. So he's still getting comfortable with what's in front of him. And when you look at Corbin Burnes' records and everything like that, he's good. But this guy tends to struggle just a little bit. You know what I mean? He strikes out a lot of guys, but he does get hit as well too. So I think tonight is a night where you can go ahead and trust Chris Flexen. Chris Flexen's kind of going through the same thing. Chris Flexen got absolutely blew up in his last game against Chicago. Chicago did score 8 runs on him. He only went 2 1/3 innings in that spot as well too. But I think that he'll be back. He'll be back and much better in this spot today, because I think that they can go ahead and make some good little adjustments. And we all know that Milwaukee has had their issues hitting in some of these games as well too. So pretty much with that, I'm going to have the Mariners as my Monday MLB Bet Us Dog Bet of the Day. So there it is. I have them today at plus 125 to try to get that bad boy home. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the final game of the night, final game that I have that I'm previewing, and that's going to be the Padres and the Braves. And we all know that the Braves actually got their butts handed to them by the Padres a few weeks back. Actually, the Padres actually wound up winning 3 out of 4 against the Braves back on a series that was from April 6th through the 9th. And since that point, they've actually lost their last 4 out of 6. And they just got done. It got a little ugly there because they lost 2 out of 3 to New York, and then they lose 3 out of 4 to they lost 3 out of 4 to Milwaukee. So in their last 7, they have not been good at all. They've dropped their last 5 out of 7. So, this team, after a nice little start to the first half of the month where they were 6-2, this team is absolutely just kind of going through the motions right now. So that's why they kind of are dealing with the issues that they're dealing with. And that's why this team is sitting at 8-9 right now as well, too. So pretty much you have this team that is ready to kind of bust out once they get Tatis. But right now, they're not in that shape. So pretty much in this game right here, what I like here tonight is there's a good pitching matchup. You got Max Fried, one of the best pitchers in the MLB. And then you have also Ryan Weathers, who's a pretty good, decent pitcher as well, too. I think the under is the play here. So I like what I see there with that. And pretty much I do like the under 8.5 in this spot. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. And that's where we go from there. All right. So it's that time, y'all. It's that time. Let's go ahead and talk those tickets, man. I know, you excited. I know Lil O's ready to do a backflip because it's that time. And let's go ahead and talk them tickets, man. Up first, we're talking tickets. Let's get into the pick six. Tonight's pick six is 51-1, and this is going to be the MLB PrimeTime pick six. I got the Giants, as I told you guys before, plus 105 tonight. We also got the Reds tonight to keep the game close with the plus 1.5. Hunter Green, baby. Hunter Green, man. Hunter Green had 10 strikeouts in his last game. Hopefully today he goes ahead and duplicates that and does even better. So, man, I'm really high on this kid, and hopefully he can go ahead and show up in this game. Then we have the under 8 with the Rangers and the Royals. This should be another really good spot for us as well, too. You got DeGrom going against Lyles. I feel like pitching will be at the absolute premium. And then we have the Cardinals with the minus 150 in this spot. Hopefully they can go ahead and get themselves a nice home win. They've been kind of going through the struggle a little bit, but hopefully today they can bounce back from that. And then we also have the over 12 with the Pirates and the Rockies tonight. That game is probably like the most contrarian situation you can have. That's probably just like literally just walking into the sports book, and if you don't know what to bet, you can go ahead and bet the over 12 Pirates Rockies. I think that they're going to be ripping that ball out everywhere at Coors today. And then we got the 1.5 with the Blue Jays money line plus 130 today as well, too. As I said before, I really do trust the Blue Jays today to go ahead and kind of, embarrass the Astros a little bit, because the Astros need a little bit of a beat down. Even though they got beat down yesterday, they just need some more wake up calls that, it's not going to be easy defending that title this year. All right, so we got the MLB late pick 4, 13-1. I got the under 8.5 Braves Padres. I'm expecting a pitcher's duel in that spot. So let's see if we can get ourselves a really good game. Low run scoring. Hopefully we can get that one home 2-1, 1-0, something of that nature. So I like the under 8.5 with the Braves and Padres. Then we also have the A's, who are plus 1.5, minus 140 as well. And then we have the Mariners money line plus 125, and that will be the Bet Us MLB dog bet of the day. And then we also have the over 8.5 with the Mets and the Dodgers. I feel like the Dodgers owe all of us some runs. The Dodgers have scored 5 runs this weekend. I think it's about time to unload the clip a little bit this weekend, and I do like them to go over in this spot. And I know the Mets got something up their sleeve as well too. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But that's going to be a 13-1 ticket, MLB Late Pick 4. All right, we got ourselves the Nets 76ers game, 2 bets. I got the under 213.5 for the full game, the plus 5.5 on the Nets first half, and then we got the Nets money line for the first quarter plus 185. And then we have ourselves the Warriors and Kings game, 2 bets tonight. We got the Warriors money line minus 130. We got the under 117.5 for the first half tonight with these teams. And then we wrap it up with the Kings. I'm just saying that the Kings should be in the lead in the first quarter. That's why I'm putting it here. I'm thinking that the Kings get off to a fast start tonight, but the Warriors get close with a fast finish tonight. Are you with me? Now, are you with me? You know what I mean? So pretty much there it is. That's going to be game 2 bets for tonight as well. So with that, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in once again. You guys are the absolute best. There is no me without you. And pretty much, as I always like to say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving. And this is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.